Look at this. Casper is going crazy. We're in the bus and the taxi lane. This is highly illegal. And he's freaking out. I'm just trying to get into the right lane here. I think we're going to do it. So I could talk about the 49ers and the Broncos. What to watch for San Francisco. It was all about Brock Purdy and the veterans on Thursday. And we've been there, done that. We went through everything that we needed to go through regarding the joint practice. Now we move on to the preseason game. Saturday night, Levi's Stadium. There is going to be no Purdy. The 49ers obviously have re-signed Tanner Mordecai. Did a big video on that. That means that he's going to be one of the 3 QBs not named Brock Purdy to play for the 49ers. Mordecai against Carter Bradley. Battle for QB3. That's something to watch. Other positions for San Francisco. Defensive tackle and defensive end for that matter as well. But I'm going to focus on defensive tackle because that's where the biggest successful youth movement is going to be necessary for the 49ers to have success in this season. All the injuries that they've suffered at that position likely making guys even beyond Kevin Givens unavailable for this game. No Evan Anderson for the 49ers. That's a big loss. Probably no Jordan Elliott for San Francisco. It's Alfred Collins and CJ West time. This is their first chance to play in an actual NFL game. And people ask me, well, what's the difference between that and practice? Well, A, they're actually going to have to tackle. But B, there's going to be a lot more strategy used against them. They got their first whiff of it in the joint practice against the Broncos on Thursday when they move the ball periods and Denver was starting to script some stuff up against the 49ers. But this is going to be a lot more formal. And I don't think that people quite grasp how much cerebral activity there is in trench warfare in the NFL. It's become a complicated beast, more and more complicated over the years. You've got to be ready for a lot of shifts. You have to be ready to play different techniques, especially if you're shifted right before the snap. All that kind of stuff. I mean, Collins and CJ West have to prove that they're interchangeable between the 1 technique and the 3 technique. The 1 technique is West's home position. The 3 technique is Alfred Collins' home position, just based on their height and weight. But you've got to be able to do both. The 3 is a bit more of a pass rushing job. The 1 is more of a block gobbling job. And if you're going to be shifting ahead of the snap because of offensive machinations in front of you, you really have to be comfortable at both spots. That's the kind of stuff that's truly going to be tested for CJ West and Alfred Collins in this game. And I don't want people to forget about Sebastian Valdez. He's been getting some rave reviews from the 49ers, Sebastian Valdez, and for good reason. The guy is built like the Hulk. That's our usual swing by San Francisco City Hall on this route. Beautiful day here in the city. But they're calling him the Hulk. And he's not nearly as tall as Alfred Collins. And I don't think that he's as strong, at least with his pushback, as CJ West, who's shown an awesome pushback so far for the 49ers. But Valdez has got just a robust base. And it's somebody who's made noise in one-on-ones. Can he now make noise? Can he be a sound tackler? Can he be just a sound player in general for the 49ers in an actual game? Toss his name into the ring. Then don't forget, somebody like a third-year man, Kalia Davis, don't forget about him. It's put up or shut up time for Kalia Davis. He had a sack in practice the other day before the 49ers had the walkthrough ahead of the Broncos joint practice. But Kalia, A, he's going to have to prove durability for the 49ers. B, he's going to have to show some of the same consistency metrics, traits as the rookies because he hasn't gotten extended playing time yet for the 49ers. So I think that we can fairly toss Kalia Davis into a similar category as your Alfred Collins, CJ West, and Sebastian Valdez. Running back, you're not going to see Christian McCaffrey. Unfortunately, you're also not going to see Jordan James. Broke his finger, and with that injury, Jordan James has to have surgery, going to be out a couple weeks. Probably won't be ready for the preseason finale against the Chargers. It just means that somebody with a very similar physical profile, shorter, stockier back without great speed, but with better burst than you'd expect, when it comes to an actual football context, Corey Kiner is going to get that opportunity. I predict that Kiner is going to see more carries and more rushing yards over the course of this preseason than any other 49ers running back. So let that great experiment begin tomorrow. Kiner had the third most yards after contact per rushing attempt in college football of any running back in the entire NCAA. So he's got great contact balance. He's going to have a chance to put that contact balance on display finally, because well, if you can't tackle live to the ground, which is the case in practice, then it's really hard for a running back to actually show balance because guys aren't trying to drag him down. So we'll see what Corey Kiner can do to counteract what defenders are trying to do to bring him to the ground in this game. Amir Abdullah is going to get some time for the 49ers as well, but he 32. Everybody knows who Amir Abdullah is. He's a known commodity. In fact, you know, he has kickoff return experience, but I would almost expect the 49ers to toss in some of these younger guys on kick and punt return over somebody like Amir Abdullah, because you know what he's going to bring. I think that it's really important that younger players who have yet to have a shot at the NFL level have that opportunity, so the 49ers have those data points. That's probably what I will be most intrigued about tomorrow, actually, is the kick and punt return situation. Somebody like Junior Bergen, 7th round pick out of Montana, we knew that he returned punts at an extremely high level in the FCS. Can he return punts at a high level without screwing things up? That's first and foremost at the NFL. He's made some catches for the 49ers too offensively, so Junior Bergen is going to have an opportunity to make the team via special teams, and the first big opportunity, because you can't do live kick returns and live punt returns in practice. That first big opportunity is Saturday against the Broncos. How about the offensive tackle battle for the 49ers? This is going to be interesting because obviously no Trent Williams. I'm guessing no Colton McKivitz, and if there is Colton McKivitz, then only for a very short period of time. At this point, I would expect the 49ers to run Spencer Burford out at left tackle for the first team that takes the field tomorrow, and I would expect Austin Pleasance to be out there for the second team. Andre Dillard is not yet off the PUP list, physically unable to perform. So unfortunately, they're not running a true swing situation yet because they're specializing Burford at left and they're specializing Pleasance at right. How do each of these guys perform in an actual game situation? We have seen both of them at those spots already down the stretch of last year, and I think that's what actually earned them those opportunities to compete this season. I thought Burford was decent at left tackle in December of last season into January. Thought Pleasance played some decent tackle for the 49ers. So now we'll see how that all looks in more live action for the 49ers. It's obviously a big deal to see who wins that swing tackle job, and we do know that Dillard might toss his name into the ring at some point as well. Finally, a right turn. Here we go. I've been waiting for one of these, so I don't have to be on camera this whole time. So we could take a look at the beautiful day. Look at the sky and the ride up Russian Hill. But this lets me look down at my depth chart, check out where the 49ers are at. We are currently at Polk Street, Polk and Green in San Francisco. We've got pedestrians crossing, Casper driving, and we got David looking at his depth chart. Linebacker. So linebacker 2 has turned into a runaway. This is D. Winter's job. Who's going to be linebacker 3? Hopefully the linebacker 3 competition doesn't get blocked, just like this car. We're making it through now, though. Linebacker 3, you know, I think fans are pulling for Nick Martin, 49ers rookie out of Oklahoma State. I think that Luke Gifford, and a veteran, has the initial claim to that job right now. The 49ers added him in free agency, but Martin's chance to make a move is now. So much of being a good linebacker is tackling, right? And this is the first chance to tackle. Somebody like Nick Martin has already brought a lot of physicality to what the 49ers are doing, but he hasn't been able to finish that physicality with the oomph that you have to see because they haven't been tackling live to the ground. Well, here's his chance to fly around and make some plays. Here's his chance to make his presence felt. And if that does happen for San Francisco, then perhaps they're going to start thinking about him as the linebacker 3. There is a lot of responsibility to these positions, though, because once the actual NFL season starts, if you blink, in one of the spots on that field, an experienced veteran quarterback is going to take full advantage of that weakness in the defense, and it doesn't matter how well you're playing at the 10 other spots. One blown assignment is going to cost you. So the 49ers have to see young guys, whether it be Nick Martin or Stone Blanton or even Tatum Bethune, who's in his second year. You've got to earn that trust. Look at this. If we look forward now, we've gone over the crest of Russian Hill. There's a cloud in between us and Alcatraz. Wonder if I could zoom. No, I don't think that I can. Oh, maybe I can. Yes, I can zoom a little bit. We're at Lombard Street, though. So let's zoom back out. And let's look to the right. Look at all these tourists. Look at that view. There's nowhere near as captivated by the Waymos anymore. I think they're getting used to the Waymos. I am captivated by the view on this beautiful day. And I wish that I could zoom for you guys, but I just can't seem to figure it out. We're gonna expand the capabilities of this camera in the future. And when we do that, we're gonna be able to see further into the bay and get shots like this. So it looks like there's fog over the Golden Gate, and it's coming through, and it's in between us, and it's like a finger of fog in between us and Alcatraz. And it looks like we got some white caps on the bay as well. So today's swim is definitely going to be fun. Upton Stout, is he going to play? I think they've got to give him reps. I don't think that he's won the nickelback job yet. I think he's the odds-on favorite, but that could be an exciting player to watch for the 49ers against the Broncos. Remember that Denver is probably not going to go too starter heavy as well. So really a showcase for a lot of young players for San Francisco. Unfortunately, Michael Williams suffered that what we think is a knee hyperextension the other day. 49ers think that it won't keep him out for long, but probably is going to keep him out tomorrow. And that's something that the 49ers would have liked to have seen, especially with Sam Okawanu and Yetur Gross-Matos still out. I think your defensive ends tomorrow, they're going to be a little light at that position. We'll see what they do with Bryce Huff, but Jonathan Garvin, Robert Beal Jr., Bradley Anayi, Jalen Allen, it's almost like Bryce Huff has to play. It's going to be That's 5 defensive ends. Maybe not. Maybe you're okay with 4 playing tomorrow, but you probably do want to address at least 5 just in case there are some injuries in this game. Going to be fascinating to see how the 49ers get around this problem. Going to be fascinating to see how we get around this cable car. This is always the spot that has confused Casper in the past, but look, the AI has gotten better. He only got stuck for like 5 seconds that time. Made his way around. So improvement. Just like you want to see improvement from the 49ers, you like to see improvement from the AI of these driverless cars. Look at that. That's a shot. You can see the fog in the distance. Normally you'd see the Golden Gate Bridge. That's the Buena Vista Cafe, home of the Irish coffees. Definitely worth checking out. If they didn't have caffeine in them, then maybe I'd check it out after I swam today in the bay, but I think I'm going to have to hold off. We've gone through, tight end 3 is the one that I haven't gone through. And that's Tonjes, that's Dwelly, that's Braden Willis. There are 3 tight ends still fighting for that spot, and they're all going to have a good opportunity to put some good football on tape during this practice, or during this game, which is essentially a practice. But it is a preseason game for the 49ers on Saturday. So, that's it. 49ers Broncos. That is your initial look at what to watch for the 49ers in the context of their position battles. Make sure to catch whatever we have right after the game. Going to be some instant analysis and a whole lot of breakdowns as the 49ers move into this more fun part of training camp. It still is the preseason, but it also still is camp, and I think it's a little bit more fun than every single day. That becomes a little monotonous. The Broncos brought some energy into practice the other day, and now both teams will have that extra energy of another game. The preseason opener, 49ers and the Broncos. One final turn, and we're here. Dolphin Club signing off. Casper signing off. See you guys later.